The people who are blowing up on YouTube aren't necessarily the ones with the best cameras or the best gear in any sort of way. They're the ones that understand something that's way more important. And once you see it, you'll never look at content creation the way that you used to. I figured this out recently, so I'm going to share with you what I figured out. Now, the very first point is something that I've mentioned in some past videos, but it's super important in my opinion to understand that you don't need the best equipment ever to be able to do the best videos. You see, in the past 5 or 10 years ago on YouTube, you had to have something super cinematic. That was the way that YouTube was. You had to have super expensive cameras, super expensive mics. You had to have some sort of backdrop that was amazing. And that was the way that you had a good YouTube video. That's the way that you had a lot of creators that had a whole team behind them that was just editing the videos, finding everything that was right or wrong, and how to improve, how to cut the videos in the right way, how to script the videos in the right way. But in 2026, you don't really need all that gear anymore. I've seen so many people just blow up overnight with not much at all, just filming with their iPhone. An iPhone is perfectly reasonable for you to film on. If you can afford to get a mic, great, but don't get yourself into the whole gear. I've seen so many people, again, that just blow up overnight, just filming in a place that doesn't look that amazing, but they just have something to share that they can share with the world, and that's why they blow up. They just have that personality that shines through. Which brings me to my second point, and that is authenticity. If you are authentic to yourself and you're not trying to be some other creator, I think a lot of creators make this mistake, and I certainly did as well, where you find a content creator that you look up to, that's doing amazing work, and you want to look like them. And when you first start, I think that's very easy to fall into that trap where you're like, I want to be just like that person. And sure, it's good to have inspiration, but you also need to be yourself. Have your own things that go on in your life, and don't try to be that other person. That person is blowing up because they're being themselves, because they have that thing to share, because they have they have their own story to tell, their own experiences. And when you try to be like them, you don't have your own stories to share because you're trying to share that other person's story. But if you share your own story and you are just being yourself, you're not trying to match that person's energy. That maybe that person has a very high energy when in their videos, or maybe it's the other way around. They have very, very calm energy. And if you try to match them and it's not your usual energy when you try to talk to people, that's when it can, your audience will sense that it's not right. It's a little bit off. It's not, they don't know, they wouldn't be able to put their finger on it, but they understand that the story or the way you're talking just doesn't make sense. It doesn't sound right. But when you try to be yourself, just like I'm doing right now, and I used to struggle with this, to have try to make videos with super high energy or trying to match somebody else, and I certainly did those videos where I was super overexcited. Not on this channel, by the way. But once I started to talk like I would talk to a friend, like I would be at a, at some sort of event, or just, casually talking or having a meal with somebody, that my energy just matched that, and I was just being myself. And that's where I started to have videos that were not necessarily going viral. I don't have a viral channel in that sense, but just videos that did a little bit better than the ones I did before that, because I was just matching who I was, and people couldn't, there wasn't a difference between who I really was and who I was trying to be. I was there. I was matching my own self, my own energy on that given day. Maybe I'll have some days where I'll have a bit more energy or a bit less energy, but I'm still being myself, and people can't sense that there's a difference or that there's something wrong with the content. Instead, they can fully be immersed in the stories that I tell or in the lessons that I learned and want to share with the world, with you guys. And sometimes it's also the direction where you're trying to go that doesn't work. If you're trying to share something that you're not super passionate about, or you don't know, maybe you want to share this, but you also want to share that, and there's a disconnect with all the things you want to share, that's also a way where you can go wrong. And if you want any help, by the way, with YouTube, you can book a coaching call with me for 15 minutes, and we can talk about your channel and what direction you should have, or just any questions that you might have. The next thing is simple content can go viral. Now, I'm not a big fan of viral videos because I wouldn't mind having a viral video, but what I want to say is I don't try to have my videos go viral, because sometimes things that blow up overnight usually crash down overnight as well. And I want, the more steady you are, maybe your growth is a little slow and you think it should be faster, but really those are the ones that where you build the most amazing brands, the biggest channels out there. If you think of Mr. Beast, he didn't blow up overnight. He just made video after video after video and it blew up. Now, you don't have to be a Mr. Beast now to have content that does well rather than viral. And what I realize now is that the simple content is the content that works best out there. Again, I've seen people who are retired that are getting millions of views. I've seen people that just quit their job or that are going viral or are still working at their job. Just, a random person can just blow up overnight or have videos that do really well if they just have something to share, if they have a simple video, because people now are tired of the whole cinematic videos. They want to connect with somebody, and if you're that person that matches their energy, that's going to work. You don't need to appeal to everyone, but if you appeal to a certain type of people that matches your energy, those people are going to be drawn to you. Those other people that don't like your energy or the things that you're saying, they're not going to look at your content, but that's all right. If they don't want to watch your content, let them go. It's all right. But if you just have your own tribe of people, it can grow up, it can become huge if you stay true to yourself and you have opinions about things. And this is an opinion. Maybe some people disagree. Maybe some people think that you need super complicated and cinematic videos in order to blow up. But I've seen this countless time happen where you don't need that. You don't need to have amazing video editing skills or that crazy personality. You just have to go through. Instead, I can remember somebody that said that at the beginning of YouTube, he wanted to invest in YouTube channels because he didn't have the personality to blow up on YouTube. He decided to do it anyway, and he's now one of the biggest finance YouTube channels in the world. So don't think that your personality doesn't match. It just matches to the right people. Now, the next point is also about how you don't need to edit your videos amazing, but more importantly, how your ideas are super important. The idea of creating a YouTube video. Now, I don't try to find my ideas myself because I'm just not the best at that, and I think that most times, even if you're good at it, most times you'll fail. So instead, I try to find videos that match kind of what I want to say, maybe in a completely different niche, but have a great idea that I can go from. So if you watch the video that I got inspiration from and you watch my video, you wouldn't even know that my video was inspired by them, but it's the overall theme and the title that will be a bit closer. And maybe the main points, but since I'm putting my own stories and my own opinions, it's a completely different video, and you can watch them back to back, you would have no idea. If you just try to find your own video ideas, it's going to be very complicated. If you find video ideas that get some views that people are interested in watching, and you think you have an opinion on that idea, on that title, on that video idea, you can completely change it. And I don't even watch the videos that I get inspired from. I just look at the titles and think I have something to say about this. And because I didn't watch that video, I'm able to have my own video idea on that, or the video idea in itself is the same, but because I have all sorts of things around it, it completely changes the video. And the editing isn't going to make much of a difference. Again, I've seen tons of people that don't edit their videos at all. Now, I do, because I stop to think about things, I stop to read my notes, I stop to do all sorts of things, but that's all the editing that I do. It's when I don't talk about something, or I make big pauses, or I stumble on my words, which tends to not happen a lot, but sometimes I'll start a sentence and think, no, I need to say it in a different way. And those, if you make some mistakes, I'm going to cut them out. But some people don't, and their videos also do very, very well, so you don't need to do that. Now, my intros usually take me a little bit of time to edit, but the rest of the video is like nothing. So that was a bit of a side tangent, but really what you need to get from this point is have video ideas that got inspired by other channels that did really well, and then your editing won't really matter. The next thing is confidence comes from repetition, because if you start off YouTube, and I've told this story before, when I started on YouTube, my confidence was low. I had very low confidence as a kid, then as a teenager, and then, when I started YouTube, I was starting to be a bit more confident, but on camera, I was really bad. But that's normal, that's everyone. You could be the most confident person in the world. You start filming your first video and it just won't go well. So don't ask yourself too many questions, just film that video, film your second video, and after 100 videos, you'll be good. You'll be feeling great and your confidence will be good. I don't think twice about filming a video right now. I just do it because that's what I do. It's not hard for me to do, but at the beginning it certainly is. So confidence comes with repetition of doing the right things, improving your own videos, and that's how you work through it. Again, if you need help with anything around YouTube, you could book a coaching call with me in the description. On the next point, I want to talk about AI. So I think that AI is a great tool, but it's not something to replace you. I talked about sharing your stories and sharing your own experiences in life. That's something that AI can't do, but if you script your video with AI, your videos won't be any good. That's just a fact. It'll be crap and people won't watch it, and you'll wonder, why do people not watch it? Well, it's because instead of getting AI help you, you're getting AI to do the work for you. And then you just have a generic video that's the same as everybody else's, that doesn't have any advantage over other ones, and it just doesn't work. So instead of doing that, use AI to maybe get some points out of other people's videos, help you craft the titles, help you craft the intros of your video, to improve them, to make them a little bit better. But for the rest of it, you just need to do the video for yourself, edit the video by yourself, and do the thumbnail by yourself. Now, there's some AI tools that do make good thumbnails, but if you do the rest of your video by yourself, you only use AI to help you, that's when it works. If you get AI to replace you, you don't have an advantage over other people, and you shouldn't do that. So make sure that it's your own video, not an AI or a video that you're just a presenter and trying to share something. I don't have a script right now. I have bullet points, but I don't have a script, and that's why my videos are more authentic than somebody that uses AI to make the perfect script. But the perfect script isn't perfect because it just lacks any emotion, it lacks any personality, it lacks everything that a human can do, and with just facts. But you know, anybody can go on ChatGPT and learn facts, but if you have a story to tell, that's a lot different. So YouTube thinks that you should watch that video. Make sure you do so, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.